What's up, Tricology family, and welcome back to another episode of the Tricology News Talk. For today's episode, it's going to be very short-shotted. This one's going to be mainly focused on the mainstream news. So let's get into it with our first topic for today. A new Karate Kid movie is coming into 2024, and this is what Variety has to say. Sony Pictures has announced the return of the original Karate Kid franchise to the big screen by dating a new Karate Kid movie for June 7, 2024. While the franchise has lived on thanks to Netflix's Cobra Kai series, which just debuted its 5th season on the streaming platform, this new Karate Kid project will be the franchise's first film offering since 2010's reboot starring Jaden Smith. The 2024 Karate Kid movie does not yet have the synopsis from the studio or from the cast and crew attached. Now, I read in an article saying that they are planning to do a 6th season. So it all depends on how this new Karate Kid movie will fit in along with the Cobra Kai series. So this is very interesting. I love the Karate Kid franchise, so hopefully we get some all the characters from the original Karate Kid franchise, along with everybody from the Cobra Kai series, to make a good Karate Kid movie, because we had not a good karate movie from the original franchise. Well, we had a good karate movie since, so this will be very awesome, and it comes out June 7th, 2024. I can't wait for it. So this sounds very exciting. And also, if you guys have not catch up with Cobra Kai, check it out, because the 5th season was great. We're Al and meet the fabulous take on the TIFF People's Choice Awards. This is interesting, and this is what Variety has to say. The TIFF's People's Choice Award is one of the most reliable predictors of the eventual Oscar success. In the past years, winners such as Green Book and Nomadland went on to capture the Best Picture prize at the Academy Awards. Other recent recipients, including the 3 billboards outside of Ecuador, Mississippi, La La Land, and Jojo Rabbit, were Best Picture nominees and major forces during the award season. At this year's festival, the first runner-up for the Audience Award was Sarah Poland's drama Woman Talking, while the second runner-up was Ryan Johnson's Without Done Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, which doesn't come out on December on Netflix. The audience prize for the festival's Midnight Madness series went on to Weird the Al Roker Story and the Documentary Award to Black Ice. So hopefully we get some more nominations. But the Woman Talking and Glass Onion are good nominees choices. So let's see who else gets nominated for award. So we'll just have to wait and see. And moving on, Variety Fair says Ezra Miller believes they are the Messiah bringing to Apocalypse. Oh my God, I thought we was done with the Ezra Miller drama. I thought he was doing good, but oh man. Let's see what IndieWire has to say. A source in the new Vanity Fair reports claim that Miller believes himself to be Christian-like figure. Really? Fate to weed 18-year-old environment activist Takura Iron Eyes, with whose parents requested a court-issued protective order against Miller, stating in the court documents that the actor met with Tessica 6 years ago when they was 12 and Miller was 23. Ezra is Jesus, and Tucker is a apocalypse Native American spider goddess, and their union is supposed to bring the apocalypse. A source for Miller's compound in Weimar, dubbed the Mountain, told the outlet, and that is real reason why everyone is opposed to bringing them together. Iron Eye's mother, Jumping Eagle, added, there are some kinds of Messiah, and they are going to lead an Israel revolution. Wow. So Israel Miller thinks he's a Messiah now. Kind of reminds me in WWE when Seth Rollins says he was the Monday Night Messiah. Good grief. This sounds like an actual movie idea to me, if you ask me. So, let's move on. Zaslav bought Warner Brothers to sell to Universal, suggesting a major report. And this is what Hollywood Reporter has to say. It has become accepted Wyndham at the highest level of the industry that another deal waits in the wings for Warner Brothers Discovery. For reasons relating to the compilation structure of that merger, no negotiations can happen until April 2024. But at this point, many industry observers believe that Comcast Brian Roberts will make a long-awaited move looking to combine NBC Universal and Warner Bros. Discovery. That deal will face some interesting entourage issues, but would give his company scale and a viable streaming services. Obviously, Peacock sucks, says one executive with knowing with both companies. There are some good sorceresses, and I think Zadla's endgame. Get the place sold. Now, this sounds like an interesting idea. Now, if Universal buys Warner Brothers, that's like when Disney bought 20th Century Fox. So let's kind of read through and let's go over some thoughts of how this is going to happen this is going to be focused on Disney and NBC Universal. Now, when it comes to Disney, Disney has Disney Animation and Pixar, and NBC Universal has Illumination and DreamWorks. While DreamWorks back in the day was its own studio, but now with Universal buying it, so DreamWorks has an adult version and also an animated version. So that's why I mentioned DreamWorks, because it's part of the animation group. So again, Disney has two animation production studios, Disney Animation and Pixar, and Universal has the Illumination and DreamWorks. Now, from the other companies, Disney has the Disney live action movie by itself, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Avatar, and Alien, and other Fox companies. Now, we already know Universal has Jurassic Park, Fast and the Furious, Bourne, and other Universal horror movies. Now, if Universal does get Warner Brothers, they will get DC, Wizarding World, The Matrix, all the Warner Brothers horror movies, the Monsterverse, and Hanna-Barbera, and of course the Warner Brothers video games in Mortal Kombat. So that's gonna be sound like a sweet deal to me. Now, if Universal buy Warner Brothers, then let's put it like this. Most of you already know that the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is at Universal. Now, if Universal get Warner Brothers, now there could be a chance that that Warner Brothers Universal will get more Warner Brothers properties into the Universal parks. Like, for example, the latest Space Jam movie with LeBron, that could be an attraction. The Matrix, that could be similar to the Bond attraction or something like that, or make it like a ride or something or something like that. They can make more DC rides or DC land or something. They can do something creative to make a Universal parks more interesting. Now, speaking of the parks, like I mentioned, Universal has Universal Studio theme parks, and Disney has their own theme parks that they're going from there. Now, in terms of streaming, Disney has Disney Plus, and we know Universal has Peacock. Now, if they get Warner Brothers, then they will also get HBO Max as well, which means that HBO Max and Peacock will be combined, which is going to be interesting because for those of you all who watch my other podcast show, the Respect the Combat podcast with myself and Donez, you guys already know that you see WWE content with Peacock, and also even though AEW has not found its way to HBO Max, but they are with TNT and TBS, which is Warner Brothers Discovery local channels. But it's going to be very interesting how these two companies will coexist. But who knows? But again, if Universal does get Warner Brothers, not only they will get that HBO Max as a streaming service, but also at HBO as another premium channel. Now, going back to the local channels, Disney has at ABC, and of course NBC has at NBC itself. And then when it comes to like sports and other like local news channels, Disney has ESPN and ABC News, and Universal has NBC and NBC News. So that's the demographic here. If Warner Brothers by Warner Brothers, but I will say this: if they do make a deal, if Universal and Warner Brothers make a deal, that deal won't come to fruition until 2024. So we'll have to wait in 2 years and see what's going to happen there. But but like I said, if Warner Brothers if Universal buys Warner Brothers, then Warner Brothers will be like 20th Century Fox. So it is what it is, and then you will have then you will be down to only the top 4 movie studios: Disney, Universal, Sony, and Paramount. That's it. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next 2 years. But moving on, Will Smith's first post-slap movie, Brilliance, is a very X-Men sounding, and this is what IndieWire has to say. Directed by 4-time Emmy winner Officer Tricology, sorry I pronounced your name, who has mostly recently held episode 4 and 5 of the Disney Plus series Ms. Marvel. The story centers on Nick Cooper, which I think is played by Will Smith, is a federal agent who works for the Department of Analysis and Response, is tasked with tracking down the 1% of the non-neutral people deemed Ambrius or Brilliance, who was born with special powers. The character Nick is a parent of a brilliant daughter and also a Amber himself in a Blade Runner at Ika's twist. He also has the ability to see the future and ultimately tries to stop a civil war. So he kind of like has the powers from Professor X. I kind of understand why they say it's very X-Men sounding. So Will Smith's character Nick Cooper probably has the power of Professor X. So this is a concept. This is kind of very interesting. So we already know that he got Brilliance on the plate, and also he's trying to get Bad Boys 4 on his plate, and other movies that probably that wasn't canceled. So it's good to see that Will Smith is back on track. So hopefully we'll see him back on the big screens. Ms. Marvel Season 2 has been teased by the show directors, and this is what Screen Rant has to say. There has been no official movement on Ms. Marvel Season 2, but a recent rumor suggests that it was a renewal in the secrets of Marvel Studios. That is what makes a recent post of Miss Marvel's co-director Alge and Belgifor potentially quietly and noticeable. The director shared a video on Instagram of them talking about working on the series, and the caption reads, "Just reminiscing in our time spent in the MCU. Who's ready for season 2?" The caption teased that they could be involved in Miss Marvel season 2. If that does happen, it'll be worth knowing that several other creatives with the show they have said that they don't think a second season will happen. Emma Silver even recently noted that she knew nothing about Mrs. Marvel season 2. Now, we gotta wait till the Marvels the movie to come out. Then we can start talking about season 2 of Miss Marvel. So let's just wait until the Marvels movie come out and see where that goes before we start talking Miss Marvel season 2. That's all I got to say. So, but a lot of Marvel already got a lot of plans, especially when they announce what's happening in Phase 5 and Phase 6. So, if Miss Marvel season 2 is going to happen, it probably ain't going to happen until maybe Phase 6, to give or take. Moving on. New writers for the Fantastic Four movie has officially been announced. So let's see what here's the latest story. With Max Scheckman onboarding as director, Marvel Studios has found its writers to deliver a new Fantastic Four pick. Sources tell Deadline that Jeff Coleman and Anna Springer are on board to write the script for the film. Insider added that the writer duo actually has been involved with Fantastic Four for some time. Even before Scheckman was tapped as director, he has been outlining where the next season of the film will fit into Marvel Cinematic Universe, along with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. So, pretty good news. I think we're all just waiting to see who will be cast as the Fantastic Four. So, hopefully we get some new details on that. But and then lastly for today, M. Night Shyamalan's new trailer for the Not at the Cabin arrives, and it looks really good. And this is what Slasher Film has to say. By the way, I did saw the trailer, and it does look really good. So let's see what the article from Slash Film says. Loosely based on Paul Termler's 2018 novel The Cabin at the End of the World, this home invasion horror film of the apocalypse has been absolutely killer cast. Excitement first sparked when Guardians of the Galaxy star and former pro wrestler Dave Bautista joined the film, which Shyamalan signing his turn into Blade Runner 2049 as he reads reasoning for casting him. Shortly after Harry Potter, Miss Strange Rupert Grint was cast, who's originally had a phenomenal run in Shyamalan's Apple TV series Servant. The two are joined by Nikki Albert Bird, who is seen in Shyamalan's Old with Mindhunter, Hamilton, and The Matrix Resurrection star Jonathan Good and Belle Alderright from Pennyworth and Fleabag rounding out the cast. So this looks pretty interesting. I hope it turns out really good because the M. Night Shyamalan's last film, Old, didn't really do that good. So I'm hoping that this movie, Knock at the Cabin, turns out really good. And that's all I have for you guys today. If you're watching me on YouTube, don't forget to like, share this video, post your comments down below, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell when new videos are uploaded. And of course, if you're listening to me on Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, don't forget to follow me there as well. But other than that, this is Trico, and I'm signing off. Peace.